What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Ronda Rousey's shocking allegation, WWE has changed the Bloodline ending, WWE is actually listening to the audience and changing storylines, Triple H's biggest change to WWE, did The Rock call an Audible, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. But now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Ronda Rousey's shocking allegation. Did a WWE superstar grab the string of Rousey's sweatpants backstage? Rousey, who's been promoting her recently released memoir My Fight, appeared on the 2nd April edition of News Nation and recalled a disturbing interaction with WWE superstar Drew Gulak. I was standing there, and this guy who I was barely an acquaintance with grabs the string of my sweatpants as I'm walking by, like I wasn't even looking at him. This guy grabs the string of my sweatpants and nobody else reacts as if this is abnormal. Rousey told News Nation she asked Gulak if he would have done that if her husband was with her. She then explained what troubled her about the behavior. And I'm like, if this guy is coming up to me and doing this kind of stuff to me when there's other people around, what's happening to these other girls when it's not in a hallway or something like that? So that really put me on edge to like, not only is this behavior prevalent, but it's so prevalent that people don't even realize it's a problem anymore. Rousey says she confronted Gulak, warning him, "If I ever hear about you putting your hands on other women like this or doing anything like this to me ever again, we're gonna have a problem." Gulak's alleged response also rattled Rousey, saying, and he was like, no, I'm glad you said something to me. You just really like backpedaled and everything like that. But it just put a really sour taste in my mouth about the culture there and what's considered acceptable and how to touch and treat the women in the hallways and anywhere. Janelle Grant's attorneys may be interested in talking with Rousey or other former WWE talent who encountered situations like this, especially if management was informed and nothing was done to end bad behavior. Drew Gulak actually responded via X just recently, saying, "Backstage at a WWE event in 2022, I saw Ronda talking with a group in the hallway. I stopped to say hi and shake all their hands, and in an attempt to shake her hand, I accidentally touched her drawstring. Complete accident, and one that I had to apologize to her for the mishap." There doesn't seem to be mentioned any pulling of the drawstring, just that he touched it, which he just said was a complete accident. So who are you believing? What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE has changed the Bloodline ending. Is Roman Reigns' run as Undisputed Champion ever gonna end? And more importantly, what's the ultimate payoff for the Bloodline saga that has captivated the WWE Universe for nearly 4 years? During an interview with The Ringer, Heyman discussed how this finish to the Bloodline has been rewritten many times. Heyman told Schneider that the best storyline is done when the ending is written first. However, Heyman said that the WWE has repeatedly been forced to break this rule. I think I would suggest the ending of this story has already been rewritten multiple times because the world has changed since the inception of the Bloodline story. The Bloodline's wise man explained, therefore, what was a clear vision of how things should play out almost 4 years ago changed along the way based not only on the audience's investment in the characters and the stories, but the world itself, society itself, pop culture itself, sports culture itself has all changed, and now we can see the trajectory that we've been on takes us so much further than we ever initially imagined. In 2022 and 2023, fans saw a major twist in the Bloodline saga after the surprise success of Sami Zayn's involvement with the Bloodline. Rumor has it that Zayn was only booked for a short-term program with the group, but that the fans' incredible response to his quest to become an honorary Uce changed things up, leading him to joining the group and eventually leaving it to feud with them. At the risk of sounding cynical, we would also suggest that there are likely business factors at play as well, including merchandise sales for the Bloodline and the perception that WWE has experienced record growth with Reigns as champion, and the WWE is concerned with what could happen to the business if Roman loses the belt. There's also the possibility that one or more of the people involved in the Bloodline story, both on-screen and off-screen, are doing everything possible to stretch the story out due to how it benefits them, even if it may not be the best thing for the long-term business. Unfortunately, the WWE runs the risk of turning the Bloodline storyline into a modern equivalent of WCW's New World Order storyline, which went from magma-like heat to go-away heat as fans tired of the same finishes and recycled storylines. Do you think it's now time to wrap up the Bloodline story, or is there plenty of life left in it? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE is actually listening to the audience and changing storylines. Now, for years, the WWE Universe lamented that Vince McMahon was paying them lip service when he claimed the promotion listens to the fans, only to book storylines and push wrestlers the fans had little interest in. That seems to have changed under Triple H's leadership, and during a chat with ESPN, the game explained how the fans do affect the WWE storylines. We always have to call audibles every single week. Everything you do is dependent on reactions. That's what we do as an industry. The beautiful thing with this group, and with Cody and Roman and Rock especially, everybody's got their ear to the ground, and then we all just get together and figure this shit out. The most recent example appears to be in how the WWE shifted gears for WrestleMania 40's main event, dropping The Rock vs Roman Reigns and replacing it with Cody vs Reigns. And as we'll see, there are other changes being noticed with Triple H calling the shots. As the next story looks at Triple H's biggest change to WWE. A SmackDown announcer Corey Graves has noticed some changes since Triple H took over as WWE's Chief Content Officer. Graves explained in an interview with Sportskeeda that the biggest change has been the amount of freedom that talent has, myself included. I'm not micromanaged, Michael Cole is no longer micromanaged, and of course, there are going to be rules and guidelines, it's just no longer a constant stream of consciousness. For years, fans have heard about Vince McMahon screaming into announcers' headsets and micromanaging their calls, just one of many anecdotes about McMahon's micromanaging of the WWE. Have you guys noticed a difference in the announcing since Triple H took over creative? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, did The Rock call an audible? Now, speaking of audibles, did The Rock call an audible during the first March edition of SmackDown when he challenged Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to a tag match at WrestleMania? If you saw the segment, The Rock was about to close it out when Roman Reigns interrupted him and asked The Rock to acknowledge him as his tribal chief. The final boss noted in a message on X that something happened out there that The Rock didn't expect. They thought it was part of the storyline. Well, you know, that's not how The Rock operates. It was no storyline. The Rock saw something in Joe Anoa'i's eyes that The Rock has never seen before, and in that moment, as Joe, who is my family, my cousin, my Uso, which means brother in Samoan, if he needs me to acknowledge him, I'm gonna acknowledge him. The Rock's acknowledgement of Reigns caught some fans by surprise, as they believed that there would become a point where Reigns would tell The Rock to acknowledge him and The Rock would refuse, leading to a conflict. That didn't happen, which instantly changed the storyline's dynamics, suggesting that while The Rock is calling many of the shots, Roman Reigns is still the man running the show. At the same time, there have been instances where fans have wondered just how much longer The Rock or Roman will agree to a first among equals power-sharing setup. While various reports indicate that The Rock has considerable creative control within his promos, what do you guys make of this claim? Do you believe that this was an audible call by The Rock, or is The Rock trying to blur the line between kayfabe and reality? And Eddie Kingston goes off on CM Punk. And last but not least, how does Eddie Kingston feel about the controversial comments CM Punk made during his interview with Ariel Helwani? Eddie Kingston spoke with podcaster Adrian Hernandez and said, and? Kingston responded when he asked for his thoughts about CM Punk's remarks about AEW. He doesn't work for us. I don't give a F. Honestly, he doesn't work for AEW, so I don't care. Kingston is known for speaking his mind, but he clarified his comments saying, that's it, I'm not even mad. If it sounds like I'm mad, it's just the way I talk. But no, I don't care. I know other people do, but I really don't give a F because he doesn't work for AEW. That's the way I look at it. If he worked for AEW and did that, then I might feel a certain way for a little bit and then just let it go and go, well, that's Phil being Phil. Can't control him, that's his thing. He ain't me and I ain't him. But he doesn't. So I don't care what he does. While rumor has it that Punk signed an NDA before leaving AEW, it's unclear what the NDA prohibits him from saying if it indeed was signed. Given the fact that Punk doesn't really care what he says, Punk's recent interview may just be the beginning of an epic rant. As far as Kingston is concerned, there may be more pressing matters in AEW. You know what I'm more concerned about? I'm not going to front, are the people who just lost their jobs at AEW. Honestly, that's what I'm more worried about. I'm more worried about Dasha Curette, and I'm worried about Anthony Henry and Stu Grayson and others who got, sorry if I didn't mention your names, no disrespect, but I'm worried about them. What do you guys think of Kingston's comments? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.